Salutations, Utopians. Game 7 is concluded between the Detroit Pistons and Orlando Magic. Detroit was at home. All the greats were, or a lot of greats were in attendance. Ben Wallace, Rip Hamilton, Isaiah Thomas, um, Dwayne Casey. So it was amazing. First Piston player with 3 straight 30-point playoff games, Cade Cunningham. Uh, Speaking of Isaiah Thomas, only he becomes only the second player in a game 7 to have 20 points and 10 dimes. Cade Cunningham, that is. He finished with 32 and 12. Tobias Harris career high in a game 7 with 27, I think, with 30 points, something in that nature. High 20s, early 30s. Just overall great collective effort. Um, I'm hearing right away that Jamal Mosley won't be returning. That's not a final answer, but pretty much you can come to expect that. I think rumors are Billy Donovan. Obviously, he's a Florida legend from his collegiate contributions. Could very well fill the void early. Uh, Jalen Suggs is visibly distraught right now. He missed 31 of the last 38 shots for himself. The theme that continues to haunt the Orlando Magic, I think, going in from last year, even though they were the first team in the offseason to launch a trade, actually happened during the finals last year, getting Desmond Bane for a plethora of first-round picks. Bane was definitely a top performer throughout the year. While they were extremely bipolar, the Orlando Magic collectively, one minute they looked like they belonged in the finals, the next minute they were getting blown out like they were the Brooklyn Nets. Um, Paulo delivered today, had north of 30, but I will say with Paulo this season, um, with the lack of point guard, he assumed a lot of the playmaking responsibilities. And I think what plagued the Orlando Magic is the same thing that plagues the Milwaukee Bucks. Your primary ball handler shooting low 30s, even though the mid range is coming back, uh, is returning, it's 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 just not possible to be a consistent threat on a nightly basis, I feel, when your primary ball handler is shooting sub 30 from three. Um, and I know that's more context is needed, but I don't think it's a coincidence that both franchises are in the same place. Um, Paolo, it reminds me a lot of Wemby, young Wemby from like a year ago, where it's like understanding when and where to practice the skill set. Paulo tries to be a Carmelo Anthony type, and I think like him being more of a Charles Barkley type, leading with the power game, being 6'10", 250, going through people more than just trying to jab and finesse out of a triple threat, oftentimes kind of riddles them. Well, let me be very clear. Franz Wagner was not available tonight, and a second option would have been nice. But the Magic are fortunate to have a stretch five and Wendell Carter who could shoot low 30s from three as well. Um, Desmond Bane can shoot out of his own. Uh, Jalen Suggs was in a funk, but he's shown in years past he can hit some shots, and there's been moments where he's had great. He's had some great moments, but he's also had some head scratching games. Who they're very heavily invested. They spent a fourth pick on him, so it's not like he's going anywhere, at least in the foreseeable. But I think if they want to get serious, he might have to be a piece they have to put out there to get a point guard. As the league goes back to natural ones, it's kind of strange to me that Orlando never really. I know they had Carter on the roster. Side note: I swear he's related to either Anthony Carter or uh, uh, Anthony Carter or Greg Anthony. He looks just like him, but Carter the third, he has a very third string type of point guard style, where it's like pass first. gets the team in the sets, will get his floaters. He'll find the creases in the defense, get his floaters out there. Not necessarily a full time starter, but the Magic had so much success with him at one point in the season because there is so many threats on the court that he can resort to, and so teams are more deferred to. So teams are more inclined to stay on those threats, leaving him as a small, lightning quick guard who is very savvy and intelligent overall to find those holes in the offense and thrive. But oftentimes, not even getting one defender, let alone a double team. So I think that from a roster standpoint, probably new coach, and then also trying to find a point guard. If this is going to continue on, there's rumors that Paolo could possibly be on the Lakers' radar. They have extreme amount of cap. Um, you know, maybe they split up the experiment between France and Paolo, because Pop France would probably play a little more power forward. Moving forward. It's been very difficult to find stretches where they both cohesively played together well. And I don't want to make this about them because he didn't even play tonight. But the Maverick have, I mean, the Magic have a lot of frontline depth. Tristan da Silva, another lottery pick who they've invested in. Jonathan Isaac is a multi-position defender capable of hitting from three levels out there offensively. So, but they got uh, uh, Batazzi out there, who reminds me, if you remember, Omar Asik of the Houston Rockets. Great offensive rebounder, great footwork for a low post defender. Ultimately, you know, he's going to have to find some minutes. I think some of these guys are definitely worthy of the expansion, uh, Las Vegas or Seattle teams. So to me, it's kind of interesting to watch it unfold. But definitely a point guard is needed. I'm surprised they didn't try to at least put 10-day contracts on a Alfred Payton or Alonzo Ball, who was sitting in free agency. Surely they could have anticipated that this offense gets stagnant. Let's try to get a floor general for a head coach, because that's what a coach's best friend is, a floor general. Quarterbacks need tight ends, coaches need point guards, uh, big men need shooters, etc. So it's just the Magic, they got some deep soul searching this offseason. That's another team that I can see get very aggressive in the offseason to try to, continue. I don't think the build is over. This isn't a core nucleus that you can afford to stick together and let grow with time. They actually have to do some moving, and they have some extremely valuable pieces that could really complement some championship rosters that may have already franchise cornerstone pieces, but need complementary pieces to further accentuate their talents. Uh, so, this season was definitely a disappointment. The Magic were a team that I could have seen, make it to the finals, honestly, play in the finals or at least the Eastern Conference finals. They had more firepower than the Pistons, but, uh, you know, that home court advantage for that game 7 really hurt them, and the Pistons really let their hands fly in that pivotal game 7 through Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris had an out of body experience. Again, this was the best performance he's ever had, probably total, even just in the playoffs in general. Forget a game 7, his best playoff game ever. So. The Pistons advanced. I think they played the winner of the Cleveland Toronto series. Um, that's going to be exciting. I think that starts on Tuesday as well, or Wednesday. I'm not sure when, but uh, you know, for the Magic, this was a disappointing year. I gotta say, they should have done more. But the league is going back to natural floor distributors. The concept of combo guards playing the one is starting to dwindle down, and unfortunately, the Magic are further proof of that theory. All right, Utopians, hope this video was informative. I'll try to do better next time. Global out.